I call you not through the noise of the world, but through the gentleness of the morning light, the kind of light that slips through the weary cracks in your heart to remind you that your life has never been forgotten. There are mornings when you awaken with a soul so heavy, it feels as though you are carrying an endless winter upon your back. But beloved, it is often in the very moment you believe yourself to be weakest that I am quietly planting within you a strength invisible to human eyes. I did not awaken you simply to endure another cycle of anxiety and doubt. I awakened you to lead you into a new season, a place where your spirit no longer bows before fear, but begins to rise before my promises. For I know the plans I have for you. Plans for peace and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. As written in book of Jeremiah 29:11. Those words were not spoken only for a few chosen souls, they are for you as well. Today, even in the midst of the things you still do not fully understand, I know there were moments when you mistook delay for failure. You looked at unopened doors and believed my silence meant abandonment. But beloved, a farmer does not dig up a seed simply because no green sprout appears after a single night. Sacred things always grow in hidden depths before they rise to the surface. I use the days when you thought you were lost to teach you the difference between the voice of fear and the guidance of peace. Some of the things you once prayed for, had I given them too early, your heart would not yet have been strong enough to carry them. That is why I allowed you to walk through quiet seasons, so that within you a maturity could be formed that no storm would easily sweep away. Just as I led the people of Israel through the wilderness instead of the shortest road, it was not because I had forgotten my promise, but because I was preparing their hearts for the new land ahead. So it is with you. I am not prolonging your journey to wound you. I am strengthening your steps so that when the appointed time arrives, you will not drop what I place into your hands. And now, listen deeply within your soul. The pressure you feel is not always a sign that you are walking in the wrong direction. Many times, that very weight is my hand gently pushing you out of the old places you have clung to for far too long. You often pray for change, yet fear the very first step that leads into it. So I allow certain doors to close and certain familiar comforts to disappear, so that you will no longer fall asleep within a place too small for who you are becoming. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. So the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. As written in book of Joshua 1:9, I do not ask you to be courageous because you are strong enough on your own. I ask you to be courageous because I am walking beside you across every trembling bridge. There is a woman in Scripture whom many people easily overlook, the widow of Zarephath. When famine covered the land, she had only a handful of flour and a little oil left, enough for one final meal before surrendering herself to despair and death. Yet when the prophet Elijah asked her to bake bread for him first, she had to choose between fear and trust. The miracle did not happen while she sat still, clutching the little she had left. The miracle began the moment she dared to move in faith, even though her circumstances had not yet changed. And so the jar of flour was never emptied, and the jug of oil never ran dry throughout the season of famine. Beloved, many times I am calling you to walk in the very same way, not to wait until every sign appears perfect before believing, but to understand that clarity often begins to unfold only after trust takes the first step. I do not ask you to see the entire road ahead. I only ask you to place your next step into my hands. So do not allow voices filled with doubt to pull you back into the old darkness. I have placed within your soul a lamp that the world cannot extinguish. You may not yet realize it, but every time you choose hope instead of surrender, every time you continue praying without yet seeing an answer, every time you keep your heart gentle in the midst of a cold and hardened world, that light burns even brighter within you. The path of the righteous is like the light of dawn, shining brighter and brighter until midday. As written in book of Proverbs 4:18, I did not call you to live a life hidden within the shadows of your past. I created you to reflect the light of heaven in the places where despair has grown deepest. Beloved, I also want you to understand that true clarity does not come from controlling every detail of your life. It comes from knowing who is holding your life in his hands. There have been nights when you lay awake, longing to know what the future would become. Yet I am teaching you something far more profound. Learn to rest with me in the present moment. For when you strain too hard to see far ahead, you forget that my hand is already holding you right now. Let peace become the sign that guides your steps. When a door fills your heart with endless confusion and turmoil, be cautious. But when a path brings quietness to your soul, even while challenges remain, it is very possible that I am there. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you. As spoken in Gospel of John 14:27. My peace is not like the fragile safety the world offers. It is a gentle strength that enables you to stand firm, even while the winds continue to blow fiercely around you. So today, stop seeing yourself as a soul trapped within limitations. See yourself instead as someone I am leading into a new season of blossoming. I placed the mark of heaven upon your life long before you even knew how to call upon my name. No failure is great enough to erase what I have written over you. No darkness is thick enough to drown out my calling upon your life. And if today you feel within your spirit a stirring to move forward, to rise again, to open your heart once more, to hope, do not ignore it. It may very well be me drawing you closer to the door you have prayed for over such a long time. Walk forward, beloved, not with the haste of fear, but with the eagerness of faith. For the new dawn is no longer far away, and the light I promised is already beginning to cover the path before you. There were seasons when you believed you were wandering aimlessly through the winding roads of life. But let me tell you this. Not a single path you have walked has ever been meaningless in my sight. Even your most exhausting days, the turns that made you weep in silence, and the moments when you felt slower than everyone around you, all of them have quietly been leading you to this very moment. This is no longer the time to stand at a distance, gazing at the light and merely wishing for it. This is the moment for you to walk toward it with the full trust of your soul. I am opening before you a door that, if you continue hesitating in fear, you may miss the season of flourishing I have prepared for you long ago. Remember that all things work together for good to those who love God. As written in Epistle to the Romans 8:28, the things that once wounded you were never meant to destroy you, but to shape you into someone capable of walking steadfastly in a greater light. Beloved, I do not pull you out of darkness through harsh force or heavy pressure. I lead you with gentle love, just as the sun patiently calls the night to fade little by little. But there is something you must understand. There are winds of grace that appear only in certain seasons. When I breathe new life into your soul, when I stir your heart again with a hope you thought you had lost long ago, this is not merely a passing emotion. It is an invitation from heaven itself. If you continue standing still within the comfort of old and familiar places, you will watch that wind pass by without ever allowing it to truly fill the sails of your life. So today I call you to rise more quickly from the delays that have wearied your spirit, not with the panic of anxiety, but with the readiness of faith. Awake, O sleeper, and Christ shall give thee light. As written in Epistle to the Ephesians 5:14, my light does not come to overwhelm you. It comes to help you clearly see the path I prepared for you long before this moment began. I know there were times when you thought clarity was something far away, like a mountain peak covered in clouds that you would have to strive your whole life to reach. But in truth, what you are seeking has been very near. It is found in the moments when your heart suddenly becomes peaceful, even though your circumstances have not yet changed. It is found in the gentle whisper that draws you out of confusion. It is found in the moments when you realize you no longer want to live according to your old fears. I have always been there, standing right before the door of your heart, waiting for you to open it with simple trust. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him. As written in Revelation 3:20, I do not break down the door to enter. I wait for the willingness of love within you. Remember the servant of the prophet Elisha on a morning filled with terror. When he opened his eyes and saw the enemy army surrounding the city, his heart trembled because he believed all hope had come to an end. But Elisha prayed, "O Lord, open his eyes, that he may see." And at that very moment, the young man saw the mountain filled with the chariots and horses of fire from heaven protecting them. Beloved, many times the problem is not that I am inactive, but that your spiritual eyes are still covered by fear. You are looking at lack and forgetting to look at my protection. You are looking at a closed door and forgetting that I can still open paths that have never existed before. When you allow me to touch your spiritual sight, you will realize that you have never walked alone, not even for a single day. So do not continue living like someone standing outside the threshold of the very promise I have given you. I have planted gentle signs within your heart to guide you, an unexplainable peace, a quiet stirring to change, a longing to live closer to me. That is the call of the light. You do not need to understand everything before you take a step forward. Abraham left his homeland without yet knowing where he was going. Peter stepped out of the boat while the sea was still full of waves. True faith does not begin when everything is certain. It begins when you trust the one who is holding your hand. Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, as written in Hebrews 11:1. And today, I am teaching you to walk by that very faith. Beloved, there are old habits that are causing your soul to fall asleep in delay. You keep thinking you need more time to be ready. But many times what you truly need is only a sincere yes to me. When you dare to step out from the familiar shadow of safety, you will see that the path has been there for a long time, just as water reflects the sunlight only when the surface grows still. Your heart will also see more clearly when it is no longer pulled back and forth by too many doubts. I do not require you to be perfect before moving forward. I only desire that you be tender enough to be led. And then, day by day, that clarity will grow within you like dawn spreading across the sky. At first, it may be only a small ray of light along the horizon. But if you continue walking with me, it will cover your whole soul with hope and new life. The things that once frightened you will no longer hold their old power. The doors that once seemed firmly locked will open at the appointed time. The prayers you thought had fallen into silence will blossom in the season I have ordained. For I do not call you near to the light merely to stand and look at it. I call you to become one who walks in that light. You are the light of the world. As spoken in Matthew 5:14. Rise, beloved. Walk while grace is still filling the sails of your soul. And then you will realize that what you have been seeking for so long was not at the farthest edge of the horizon. It has been very near. From the moment I first began calling your name in the earliest dawn. Beloved, do not allow the world to harden your heart through disappointment or long seasons of weariness. I did not create you to live like a closed door, knowing only how to protect yourself from pain. I created you with a soul capable of trembling at the sorrow of others, with hands able to open and lift the weary, and with eyes gentle enough to recognize the souls still longing to be loved. Some people believe that only great and extraordinary things carry value in my sight. But let me tell you this, many miracles begin through the smallest acts done with genuine love. A word of encouragement spoken at the right moment can rescue a soul from despair. A gentle touch can remind someone drowning in loneliness that they have not been forgotten. A quiet prayer offered in secret can open a doorway for light to enter the darkest places. He who is faithful in very little is also faithful in much. As written in Gospel of Luke 16:10. So do not underestimate the simple things you are able to do today. I know there are times when you think you must wait until you become stronger, more complete, or more certain before you can become a blessing to others. But beloved, true love does not wait for everything to become perfect before it begins to move. Love recognizes opportunities to do good and responds quickly with tenderness. When I call you to move swiftly, I do not want you to rush about in panic like someone afraid of being left behind. What I desire is for your soul to move in rhythm with my heartbeat, the rhythm of mercy, spiritual sensitivity, and a heart that does not remain indifferent to hands reaching out to be held. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart. As written in Epistle to the Galatians 6:9, there are seasons when you cannot yet see the harvest of the love you have sown. Yet every small seed is quietly taking root within the hearts of others. Remember the little boy who carried 5 loaves and 2 fish among the hungry crowd. In the eyes of the world, what he offered seemed far too small to accomplish anything significant. But when the boy opened his hands and surrendered what he had to me, the miracle began to spread among thousands. Do you see now? I am not searching first for perfection. I am searching for a willing heart. What seems small in your hands, once placed into mine, becomes enough to feed many souls. You do not realize that there are people surviving because of the gentle light you unknowingly offer them each day. Your smile may become the final ray of hope they see before deciding not to give up. Your quiet prayer may become the doorway through which healing enters a broken family. So do not hold tightly to what I have placed within your heart. Let it flow outward like cool water in the middle of a dry and thirsty land. Beloved, my grace works most powerfully within a heart that remains soft before the guidance of the Holy Spirit. When your heart becomes hardened by the fear of being wounded, you will struggle to recognize the gentle whispers I send to you. But when you keep your soul tender, you will begin to sense my direction, even in the most ordinary moments. I may guide you through a brief conversation. I may touch another soul through your kindness. I may use the simplest things to brighten someone's darkest day. Bear one another's burdens. As written in Epistle to the Galatians 6:2, because when you help others rise again, your own soul is also being healed and strengthened. There are people who believe that peace means standing still and doing nothing, so they will not grow weary. But my peace is not that cold and lifeless stillness. The peace I give is like a river, flowing gently yet full of life. When you walk in rhythm with me, you will discover that you no longer move through life by forcing your own strength. The things that once filled you with panic will slowly lose their power over you. You will begin to live more lightly, like someone who knows they are always being carried. And then every step you take will carry the fragrance of hope. Not a loud and boastful hope, but a quiet gentleness that brings comfort to others simply through your presence. For we are unto God a sweet savor of Christ. As written in 2nd Epistle to the Corinthians 2:15, you do not need to strive to prove your light. When I truly dwell within you, that light will naturally shine forth, and then you will witness something beautiful. Souls that were once lost will begin searching for the source of light through the life you live. Not because you are more perfect than they are, but because they see within you a peace this world could never create. Someone may rediscover hope simply by hearing a gentle word from your lips. Someone else may desire to return to me because they see within your eyes a love that does not condemn. Never underestimate the influence of a life that loves sincerely. Even a small lamp can guide many people through the darkness of night. And each day, as you continue walking in tenderness and willingness, the calling I have placed upon your life will become clearer within your soul. It will not arrive like thunder meant to terrify you, but like the soft ringing of a bell at midday, causing your spirit to recognize that you are finally living according to what I created you to be. Let your light so shine before men, as spoken in Gospel of Matthew 5:16. And as you continue opening your hands to love, you will realize that while you are warming the hearts of others, your own soul is also being made brighter by me day after day. Beloved, there have been times when you believed you were being wise by slowing down, by weighing everything one more time, by keeping yourself suspended in the middle of a decision in order to avoid every possible risk. But I want you to learn how to discern what is truly speaking within your heart. Not every delay comes from my guidance. Some fears are extremely subtle. They do not shout loudly enough to send you into panic, nor do they immediately drag you into darkness. Instead, they quietly pull you backward, one small step at a time, disguising themselves as caution, making you believe you are simply waiting for the right moment. And so day after day passes while you remain standing before the door I have already opened, and your soul slowly grows weary from constantly looking ahead without ever daring to step forward. Today, if ye will hear his voice, harden not your hearts. As written in Epistle to the Hebrews 3:15, there are moments when heaven itself is moving very near to your life, and what I seek is not absolute perfection, but a heart soft enough to respond to my call. I know you often think you need more time to prepare. You want everything to become completely clear, every emotion perfectly settled, every doubt entirely gone before you dare move forward. But beloved, if everything were already certain before your eyes, then it would no longer be faith. Faith always carries a slight trembling in its steps. Yet it continues moving toward the light because it knows who is waiting at the end of the road. When I called Abraham to leave his homeland, I did not hand him a detailed map of the future. When I called Moses to stand before the Red Sea, the waters did not part immediately. And when Peter stepped out of the boat, the sea was still the sea. Yet it was in the very moment they obeyed amidst uncertainty that my power began to reveal itself. The just shall live by faith. As written in Epistle to the Romans 1:17, you do not need to see the entire road before you begin walking. You only need to trust that I am holding your hand. Remember Esther, the young woman brought into the palace during a dangerous hour for her people. There was a moment when she could have chosen silence in order to preserve her own safety. Fear whispered to her, "Do not speak. Do not take the risk. Wait for another moment that feels safer and more convenient." But Mordecai told her that perhaps she had been placed in that position for such a time as this. And when Esther decided to step before the king, even while her heart trembled with fear, an entire nation was saved. Beloved, many times, what is waiting on the other side of your obedience is not only blessing for your own life, but life itself for the people I desire to touch through you. If Esther had continued delaying because she wanted to feel completely ready, the season of deliverance might have passed by. I do not want you to live with regret because fear, disguised as wisdom, held your steps captive for too long. Some opportunities I send are like the first rain upon dry ground. If you open your heart to receive them, the seeds will quickly take root and begin to grow. But if you keep your heart closed in hesitation, the soil will gradually harden, and what once could have borne fruit will begin to wither away. I do not say this to fill you with fear, but so you may understand the value of responding at the right time. There are seasons when I am breathing new life into your soul, opening doors that never existed before. And the only reason you may miss them is not because I am unfaithful, but because you continue stepping backward from my invitation. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. As written in Revelation 3:8, when I open a door, do not merely stand outside gazing at the light, step forward with the assurance that I have already gone before you. Beloved, true wisdom is not found in avoiding every risk in order to remain forever within familiar places. True wisdom is recognizing when I am moving and having the courage to follow me, even while many questions still remain. The people I have used most powerfully were never those who felt no fear. They were simply those who refused to let fear rule their lives. David still stepped forward to face Goliath while all Israel trembled. Joshua still led the people across the Jordan while the river overflowed its banks. Mary still said, "Let it be unto me," even though she could not fully understand where the road ahead would lead. And each time, I revealed my power through hearts that chose trust over endless analysis. So today, allow me to blow away the thin mist, clouding your spiritual vision. The things you call waiting just a little longer may quietly be stealing from you the season of flourishing I prepared long ago. I am not calling you into recklessness, but neither do I want you trapped within the comfort zone of delay. There is a great difference between peace and stagnation. Peace allows you to rest in me and then move forward boldly. Stagnation keeps you standing still for so long that your soul slowly loses its vitality. The Lord shall guide thee continually. As written in book of Isaiah 58:11, if I am the one leading your path, you do not need to wait until every wind has stopped blowing before setting sail. Walk forward, beloved. Walk with the tenderness of a heart willing to listen and with the courage of someone who knows they are being upheld. Once you cross beyond the threshold of hesitation, you will realize that many of the worries that once kept you awake at night vanish like mist beneath the morning sun. And then you will understand, the most beautiful thing was never how perfectly prepared you were, but that even within your trembling, I still found a sincere yes within your heart. Beloved, there are times when fear does not enter your heart like a violent storm, but like a soft blanket laid over your will, lulling you to sleep within delay. It does not tell you to completely abandon what I have placed inside your heart. It simply whispers gently, tomorrow will be fine. Wait a little longer. Begin when everything becomes clearer. And because that delay appears so harmless, many souls never realize they are being held back right at the threshold of a new season. Beloved, what causes a fire to die is often not a great rainstorm, but the absence of anyone continuing to place wood upon it. In the same way, when I ignite within you a holy stirring, a righteous desire, a sudden clarity about what you are meant to do, I do not want you merely to admire it while allowing time to slowly cool your soul. Not slothful in business, fervent in spirit. As written in Epistle to the Romans 12:11, some flames remain alive only through the obedient steps you are willing to take. I know you often think there will be a more perfect day to begin, a day when you no longer feel doubt, no longer feel weary, no longer sense fear creeping into your thoughts. But beloved, if you keep waiting until the sky is completely free of clouds, you may never step out of the familiar boat you have grown comfortable within. Remember those whom I called throughout Scripture. They did not move only when circumstances became favorable. They moved when their hearts chose to trust me more than their uncertainty. Noah began building the ark before a single drop of rain had fallen upon the earth. Joseph remained faithful even within the prison before ever seeing the palace. And the woman who had suffered from bleeding for 12 years pressed through the crowd to touch the hem of my garment, even while her body was weak and her heart trembling. Miracles did not wait until they felt strong enough to appear. Miracles met them along the road of obedience. Blessed are they that have not seen, and yet have believed. As spoken in Gospel of John 20:29. Faith is not standing still until everything becomes certain. Faith is walking in the small light I have already given you, and trusting that I will reveal more light for the next step. Learn to discern the difference between resting in me and stagnation created by fear. There is a kind of slowing down that is holy when your soul is resting, being restored, healed, and prepared by me. But there is also a kind of stillness that slowly drains the life from your spirit. It causes you to think too much while stepping too little. It fills your heart with endless questions while leaving you without peace. When you are truly being led by me, even if you do not yet understand everything, there will still be a quiet current of peace deep within you, sustaining your soul. I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way which thou shalt go. As written in Book of Psalms 32:8, I do not guide you through chaos that leaves you paralyzed. I guide you with enough light for you to move forward courageously, one step at a time. Remember the people of Israel standing before the Jordan River during the season of flooding. The waters rushed so fiercely that stepping into them seemed far too dangerous. Yet I did not part the river from a distance before asking them to move. The priests had to place their feet into the water first, and only when their feet touched the river did the waters begin to stop and open into a pathway. Do you see now? Some doors open only when you move toward them in trust. If they had remained standing on the shore waiting for absolute certainty, the people would have remained trapped in the old land forever. And so it is with you. I do not want you to spend your entire life standing at the border between promise and hesitation. I want you to step in. Beloved, every day you delay what I have already illuminated within your heart. You are not only losing time, you are also losing opportunities for your soul to grow more deeply. There are seeds that can only sprout in their appointed season. If you continue holding them tightly in your hands because you are afraid to sow them into the ground, they will never become the garden I intended. I have placed within you gifts, ideas, words of love, and acts of goodness that are still waiting to be brought forth. Do not let them sleep too long within the safety of endless thinking. Whatever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. As written in Book of Ecclesiastes 9:10, I did not give you light to hide deep within yourself. I gave it to guide the steps you must take today. And then you will begin to understand that the pressure you are feeling is not always a sign of opposition. Many times, that very pressure is the final force that causes a seed to break open and begin to grow. If a seed insists on remaining in its old form because it feels safer there, it will never become a mighty tree. In the same way, I am leading you through a transformation. You may feel uncomfortable, and you may sense yourself being urged to change more quickly than you expected. But I am not doing this to exhaust you. I am drawing you out of a place too small for what I have planted within your soul. Behold, I will do a new thing. As written in Book of Isaiah 43:19, and that new thing does not begin on some perfect future day, it begins with your yes today. So, let your feet move more quickly than the voice of delay. Step forward before fear has time to rebuild the old walls within your mind. Trust that if I have called you onward, I have already prepared the ground beneath your feet. The things that make you tremble today will soon become testimonies of my faithfulness. And when you look back, you will understand this. The beauty was never in beginning perfectly, but in choosing to walk with me despite all your fears. Beloved, I see the silent nights when your heart feels as though it is carrying an entire storm-filled sky upon its shoulders. There are times when you wonder why, even after trying to walk faithfully with me. The pressure around you only seems to increase. You thought that being closer to the light would make everything easier. But beloved, many times what happens before a door finally opens is not immediate relief, but one final wave of pressure so intense that your soul feels unable to endure anymore. Do not be afraid of this. There are seasons when I allow pressure to come, not to crush you, but to awaken within you a strength you never knew you possessed. My strength is made perfect in weakness. As written in 2nd Epistle to the Corinthians 12:9, it is precisely in the place where you believe you are about to run empty that my power finds the greatest room to reveal itself. Look at the seed buried deep within the earth. If it could speak, Perhaps it would believe that the heavy soil above it was trying to bury it forever. But in truth, that very pressure is teaching it how to root deeply and rise upward with greater strength. Without the pressure of darkness and soil, the young sprout would be too weak to stand beneath the sunlight. And so it is with you. I am not allowing you to walk through these tense and exhausting days without purpose. I am maturing your soul far beyond what your natural eyes can see. Some forms of patience can only be formed through waiting. Some forms of courage only appear when you continue moving forward, even while your heart still trembles. And some great doors open only for those who have learned not to give up in the final moments. Tribulation worketh patience, and patience experience. As written in Epistle to the Romans 5:3-4, what is happening to you is not merely a trial, it is also preparation. I know there are moments when you want to stop simply to escape the feeling of constant pressure. But beloved, many people give up only a few steps before seeing the miracle I prepared for them. They mistake pressure as a sign to turn back, when in truth, it is often the signal that they are standing very near a new doorway. Remember the people of Israel standing before the Red Sea. Before them was deep water, and behind them, the armies of Egypt were drawing near. Everything looked as though there was no way of escape. Yet, it was precisely when the pressure reached its highest point that I opened the sea into a pathway. If they had turned back in fear at that moment, they would never have stepped into freedom. Do you see now? Some miracles appear only when you continue taking one more step in faith. The Lord shall fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. As written in book of Exodus 14:14. And that peace does not mean remaining motionless in despair. It means keeping your trust alive while your feet continue moving forward. Do not think that the one opposing you is stronger than the light I have placed within your life. The loudest roars often rise when darkness realizes its time is drawing to an end. The enemy does not need to stop the person who has already sat down and surrendered. It only seeks to make the one standing closest to the finish line begin doubting themselves. So today, I want you to stop seeing pressure as a sign of failure. See it instead as the sound of drums building before the curtain rises on a new season. I have led you through far too much to abandon you here. I have never forgotten the tears you hid in silence, the prayers you thought no one heard, or the moments you had to appear strong when inwardly you were almost exhausted. I am still here. When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. As written in book of Isaiah 43:2. That promise does not change simply because today you are weary. Remember David, before he ever became king, before wearing the crown, he endured long seasons of being hunted through the wilderness like an exile. There were nights when he slept inside caves while hearing the footsteps of enemies searching to take his life. That pressure was enough to make anyone believe my promise had failed. Yet it was in the wilderness that I shaped David's heart so he would become not merely a powerful king, but a man who knew how to depend upon me. If David had desired only the throne while refusing the pressure of the journey, he would never have become deep enough to carry such a calling. Beloved, I am also preparing you for something greater than your present season. And sometimes, that preparation requires days in which your soul must learn how to stand firm beneath pressure. I want you to understand that the limits you feel are not walls meant to stop you. They are more like a bowstring being drawn tight before an arrow is released farther than ever before. If your heart feels heavy today, let that heaviness draw you nearer to me instead of pushing you away from hope. Do not force yourself to carry everything alone. Give to me the burdens you can no longer bear, for I never called you to fight through your own strength. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. As spoken in Gospel of Matthew 11:28, the rest I give does not always remove every battle immediately. It gives you the strength not to collapse in the middle of the battle. And the day will come when you look back upon this season with different eyes. You will realize that the very pressure that once made you weep became the force that pushed you into a stronger and clearer version of yourself. You will understand why I would not allow you to remain in the old land, for beyond these exhausting days waits a new sky, a new season of blossoming, and a new freedom for your soul. So today, do not step backward. Rise once more. Take one more step, and when you believe you have only your final ounce of strength remaining, you will suddenly realize that my hand has been holding you all along and has never let go. Beloved, if today you feel pressure closing in from every side, do not immediately assume that you have been driven into a dead end. There are doors I close not to end your journey, but to redirect you toward a wider path you once lacked the courage to enter. Seen through natural eyes, pressure appears like a wall that leaves you weary and trapped. But seen through the eyes of faith, you will recognize it as my hand redirecting your steps away from narrow places and towards something greater. My ways are higher than your ways. As written in Book of Isaiah 55:9, there were times when you asked me to open doors, yet instead I allowed pressure to push you out of the old places first. Because without that pressure, perhaps you would have remained within familiar territory forever and never discovered the new horizon I had prepared for you. I know there were moments when you believed you were about to run completely empty. But beloved, much of the strength I have placed within you only reveals itself when you are forced to move beyond the limits you once believed you had. Just as water reveals its force when pressed through a narrow passage in the rocks, your soul is also being shaped through these days of pressure. I used previous seasons to refine you quietly and unseen. The times you were disappointed yet still rose again. The nights you wept yet continued praying. The seasons when you thought you were making no progress at all of it was preparation. Nothing you have endured has been wasted in my hands. The trying of your faith worketh patience. As written in Epistle of James 1:3, and now, what I planted within you is beginning to bloom in its appointed season. Beloved, do not look at pressure merely as something to endure. Learn to turn it into the force that moves you forward. A person rowing through violent waters cannot keep staring at the oars while remaining terrified of every crashing wave. If their eyes remain fixed only upon the storm, they will lose direction. But if they keep their gaze on the shore ahead, every stroke will bring them closer to safety. And so it is with you. Do not allow your mind to be swallowed by every noise surrounding you. Keep your eyes fixed upon the words I have spoken over your life. I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me. As written in Epistle to the Philippians 4:13, your strength does not come from easy circumstances, but from the fact that I am with you within those circumstances. Remember Joseph in Egypt. Before he stepped into authority over an entire nation, his life was repeatedly crushed like grain beneath a millstone. He was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and forgotten in prison. To natural eyes, all that pressure seemed intended only to destroy him. But in truth, every painful season was training Joseph for the great responsibility ahead. Prison taught him patience. Betrayal taught him mercy. Loneliness taught him to depend more upon me than upon people. And when the appointed time arrived, he was not only capable of ruling, he possessed the depth necessary to save many lives during a season of famine. Beloved, I am doing the same within you. If pressure is weighing heavily upon your soul today, it may very well be because I am expanding your capacity for something greater than you ever imagined possible. There are people who pray to enter a new season while resisting every process that would mature them enough to carry it. You cannot ask for wings and then fear the strong winds. An eagle only learns to soar high when it faces the currents that lift it away from the cliffs. If it clings forever to safety, it will never discover how vast the sky prepared for it truly is. I do not want you merely to survive this life, I want you to rise within the purpose I placed upon your existence. So do not despise pressure. Ask me what I am teaching you through it. All things work together for good to them that love God. As written in Epistle to the Romans 8:28. Even the thing exhausting you today may become the bridge leading you toward a place far more alive than before. I know you have endured longer than you ever thought you could. And I see what many others cannot see, the quiet maturity that has formed within your soul. You are no longer the person who collapses as easily as before. The battles you have survived have strengthened your shoulders. The times you rose again after disappointment have deepened your faith. And now, all of those lessons are converging for a very important transition. This final pressure is not a sign that you are about to lose. It is more like the final examination before a new door fully opens. A blacksmith does not send a sword into battle immediately after the first heating. He continues placing it into the fire and forging it until the blade becomes sharp enough and strong enough. You are standing within that final moment of refinement now. So, today, lift your head instead of lowering it in exhaustion. Let pressure remind you that what I promised is very near. A field ready for harvest does not wait forever for the reaper. A favorable wind does not remain still forever for the sailor preparing to depart. And so it is with your new season. Do not return to the old place of safety simply because the waves sound louder than usual. Beyond this pressure lies a wider sky, a deeper joy, and a stronger version of yourself, the version I saw long ago. Be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid. As written in Book of Joshua 1:9. For I did not train you only for you to collapse at the edge of the finish line. I am leading you toward crossing over with eyes shining in victory, so that you may finally understand that nothing you endured was meaningless, and that my hand has never left you for even a single moment. Beloved, when pressure begins to rise like a tide reaching the shores of your heart, do not immediately assume that darkness is winning. Some sounds within the soul are not warnings of an ending, but the trumpet call of a new beginning drawing very near. I want you to learn how to see these difficult days through different eyes. What feels like pressure today may actually be the hand of heaven gently lifting you out of old ground. Without that force pushing against you, perhaps you would have remained forever within familiar places, continuing to accept a life smaller than what I intended for you. But I love you far too deeply to allow you to fall asleep within the comfort of safety. So I permit certain pressure to arise, not to crush you, but to awaken the spiritual wings I placed within you long ago. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? As written in Book of Isaiah 43:19. A new season does not always arrive with loud noise. Many times it begins as a quiet stirring that no longer allows you to keep living the same way. I know there are moments when you grow weary from believing you have endured for far too long. But beloved, after the pain of childbirth, a mother often no longer remembers the full intensity of her suffering once she holds her child in her arms. The joy of new life overshadows the memory of the pain that came before it. And so it will be with you. The day will come when you look back upon this season and realize that what once made you weep was actually the doorway into a brighter season filled with greater light. I have already prepared paths your eyes cannot yet clearly see. I have already arranged the meetings, the opportunities, the healing, and even the joys waiting ahead of you. So today, do not allow your heart to shrink backward in hesitation. Step into this new season with the gentle hope of someone who knows their Father has already gone before them to prepare the way. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. As written in Book of Psalms 30:5, your dawn is nearer than you think. Beloved, there is something I want you to engrave deeply within your heart. You are not a nameless soul drifting lost within this vast world. Before your first cry was ever heard, I had already placed my mark upon your life. Not the mark of human beings, something time can eventually erase, but a spiritual seal carved by everlasting love. I have called thee by thy name, thou art mine. As written in book of Isaiah 43:1. That mark is not merely a beautiful comfort, it is the confirmation that your soul is known in heaven. I know every beat of your heart, every sorrow hidden behind your smile. Every moment you tried to remain strong while no one understood how exhausted you truly were. Nothing in your life is invisible before my eyes. There were seasons when you believed that Mark had faded because of your failures. You looked at your mistakes, your delays, your seasons of wandering, and wondered whether I still desired to call you mine. But beloved, my love does not change according to the unstable seasons of human emotions. When the prodigal son returned home, the father did not first ask how many times he had failed. He ran to embrace his child while he was still far away. That is my heart toward you as well. I have not forgotten the seal I placed upon your life simply because you have experienced weakness. If we believe not, yet he abideth faithful. As written in 2nd Epistle to Timothy 2:13, you may have doubted yourself, but I have never doubted the purpose I created for you. Remember Jacob during the night he wrestled with the angel beside the river Jabbok. He entered that night carrying fear, shame, and the weight of old memories. But he emerged with a new name and a new mark upon his life. The struggle was not meant to destroy him, it was meant to transform him. And so it is with you. The pressure and dark nights you are enduring are not proof that I have abandoned you. It may very well be in those very hours that I am engraving my spiritual mark more deeply upon your soul. What is formed through pain often endures far longer than what comes easily. And the day will come when others look upon your life and see a light they cannot explain because it is the light of someone who walked through the fire without losing their faith. Beloved, the mark I have placed upon you cannot be erased by the rejection of others. It does not disappear because you have wandered at times. It does not weaken because the circumstances of life have become difficult. There are many who allow the world to define their worth through success, failure, approval, or rejection. But your value did not begin with the opinions of people. It began when I called you mine. Behold, I have graven thee upon the palms of my hands. As written in book of Isaiah 49:16. When I speak those words, I want you to understand that you can never be forgotten within my heart. So today, do not live like someone struggling to earn a place that was never absent from them. You do not need to race in order to be loved by me more deeply. You do not need to prove your worth through flawless performance. What I desire is for you to return to the truth that you have belonged to me for a very long time already. And when you truly believe that, fear will begin losing its power over you. You will no longer desperately strive to be seen, because your soul will know that it is already recognized in heaven. You will no longer collapse so easily beneath pressure, because deep within you there is an unshakable seal that nothing can destroy. And then every step you take will carry the peace of someone who understands they are being guided by eternal hands. Therefore, lift up your head. Beloved, pressure is not proof that you have been abandoned. Many times it is the trumpet announcing that a new season has already begun moving around your life. My mark upon you is still burning brightly, even when you cannot yet feel it. And very soon, you will understand why I would not allow you to remain in the old land, because ahead of you lies a field filled with light, where your soul will blossom more beautifully than you ever dared to dream. Beloved, there are nights when you lie awake in silence and wonder whether your life truly carries value in my eyes. You look at your failures, at the long seasons of waiting, and without realizing it, you allow the voice of doubt to slip into your heart like a cold wind through a narrow crack in the door. But today, I want you to engrave within yourself a truth that nothing can shake. Before you learned how to walk, before you understood right from wrong, before you accomplished anything that could prove your worth, I had already called you mine. The mark I placed upon your soul was not created by human achievement or perfection. It was created by my everlasting love, a love that does not change according to your failures or victories. I have loved thee with an everlasting love. As written in book of Jeremiah 31:3. So do not live like someone constantly racing to earn my approval. You do not need to strain yourself in order to be loved. You only need to open your heart and receive the love that has always belonged to you. The mark I placed upon you is not only the confirmation that you belong to me, it is also a quiet protection surrounding your life through every season. Like the king's seal upon an important letter, that mark declares that what lies within has been preserved and that no one has the authority to alter it. The enemy may plant accusations within your mind and may try to make you doubt your own value, but it cannot erase what I have ordained. Neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand. As written in Gospel of John 10:28. Do you hear that? Beloved, I did not say there would be no battles. I did not say there would be no weary days. But I did say that through every battle, you remain held securely within my hands. Your life may sometimes shake like a tree beneath violent winds. Yet your roots are anchored more deeply in my love than you realize. Beloved, many people spend their entire lives beneath the burden of trying to prove they are worthy. They strive endlessly to feel accepted, recognized, and loved. But I do not want you living as a slave to self-validation. When I chose David, he was not yet a king. When I called Jeremiah, he believed he was too young. When I chose Mary, she was only a humble young woman from a small village. I did not wait for them to become perfect before placing my hand upon their lives. I called them first, and then my grace guided them into maturity within that calling. And so it is with you. I do not love you because you do everything correctly. I love you because you are my child. I have called thee by thy name, thou art mine. As written in book of Isaiah 43:1. And when you truly understand that, the pressure to prove your worth will begin falling from your shoulders like old chains finally broken away. And from that place of being loved, I want you to step into a holy boldness, not the pride of someone who believes they are stronger than others, but the peace of someone who knows they are being led by the King of Heaven. There is a great difference between a person who trembles because they believe they must carve out their own path and a person who knows their Father has already gone before them to prepare the way. When you understand that you carry my seal upon your life, you will stop panicking whenever a door closes. You will no longer live in fear of rejection, because you will know that what I have appointed for you will arrive at the right time. If God be for us, who can be against us? As written in Epistle to the Romans 8:31, the doors truly meant for you will not open because you strike harder than everyone else, but because I have already appointed the moment for them to open. Remember Esther, the young woman who once lived quietly within the palace before stepping into the defining moment of her life. During those hidden years, she may have believed her life was simply passing by in silence. Yet I was preparing her for a moment when an entire nation would need her courage. To naturalize, those hidden years may have appeared slow and meaningless, but in truth, it was within those unseen places that I was weaving strength, wisdom, and inner beauty into her spirit. And when the appointed time arrived, my seal upon Esther's life caused her to step forward not only with beauty, but with the radiance of divine purpose. Beloved, I am doing the same within you. There are seasons when I allow you to remain unseen, not because I have forgotten you, but because I am protecting the precious things I placed within your soul from the hurried hands of the world. Do not despise those quiet seasons. A seed does not bloom on the very day it is planted. It requires time beneath the dark soil in order to grow deep roots. A pearl is not formed amid the applause of crowds, but in silence beneath the depths of the sea. And so it is with you. The days when no one applauds you, the seasons when no one fully understands what you are enduring, may actually become the most valuable parts of my preparation. It is there that I am teaching you how to remain humble while still carrying hope, how to stay patient while waiting, and how to hear my voice more clearly than the noise of the world. Thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. As written in Gospel of Matthew 6:6. Not one hidden day of your life has been forgotten before me. Beloved, the time will come when the light I have placed upon your life can no longer remain hidden. What I have been quietly forming within you will eventually shine outward like dawn after a long night. Others will see within you a peace they cannot explain, a wisdom that does not come merely from books, and a gentleness that still remains after seasons of pain. And in that moment, they will not merely see you, they will sense my presence through you. For the mark I have placed upon your soul was never meant to remain buried in darkness forever. It was created to reflect the light of heaven within this world. So today, stop living like someone who must fight to earn a place for themselves. Live instead like someone who already knows they have been chosen, loved, and protected from the very beginning. Walk forward with your shoulders lifted, not because of pride,